Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. Today, we're making the build that I just needed to make. With this build, all of my hunters can finally live out their true gunslinger dreams right here inside of Destiny. This build gives our Crackshot our newest hunter aspect, which is incredibly flashy, infinite uptime, which makes it really quite potent, and with some incredibly juicy buffs to the rest of the Solar Hunter kit and some other stuff we'll talk about. This build actually ended up not being LARP and was really fun even in end-game content. So if I may say, I think you should try out this build. Now, before we go any further, I've got something really nice to share with all of you thanks to today's sponsor. Did you know that you can get all of these things on Temu for $0? Today, as a gift from the people at Temu, I'm sharing a special code for new users, this one on screen, KOP8454. With this code, you can shop for items at $0. And I don't know about you, but there aren't many places I know that offer 100% off discounts for these kinds of items. You've got gaming peripherals, headsets, cameras, shoes, you've got all sorts of stuff. And the Temu app actually makes it really easy to see your discounted items by integrating the whole process into the search bar. But that said though, my code only works if you type it into the search bar. It's kind of interesting how it works, but it makes it really easy to find the discounted items. Now follow along with me. I literally have my phone right here. We're gonna do this. Go to the Temu app, you go up to the search bar and you paste in the code or type it in, KOP8454. When you search, it'll bring up this page with all of our discounted items. And there's a lot of interesting stuff. We've got a game controller for mobile devices, you've got keyboards, you've got headsets, cameras that look pretty cool. You've got a scale that actually interests me quite a bit. But the thing that I think I really want to grab is this game controller, because I don't know about you guys, but there's a certain spin-off to our favorite game that I'm probably gonna be playing more often. So we just click claim for free and we can now choose 2 more items. There's a car cleaning microfiber cloth that looks really nice. I kind of need that. Changes it up. We've got some sandals made out of EVE foam. Those look kind of nice. I need some new sandals. We'll claim those too. Claim for free, 3 items, all for the price of 0. Again, use the code KOP8454 to get $0 items on Temu. There's really a ton of stuff that you can choose from, whether it's for yourself or as a gift. But again, make sure to use my code in the search bar to get these items for yourself. And again, thank you, Temu, for sponsoring today's video. Now, to begin this video, the first thing we need to take a look at is obviously Crackshot itself. This aspect reads, activate your class ability to fire up to 3 scorching shots at combatants that you've marked. Aim at targets to mark them. Landing all 3 shots cures you. This ability's damage increases with your class stat when your class stat is 100 or higher. So taking a look at this brand new ability in game, the first thing we can notice is that our dodge is a new icon. This is showing us that Crackshot has completely replaced our normal dodge. The next thing you'll notice before even clicking the button is that when aiming at enemies, you will get red targeting diamonds to appear. These indicate which enemies will be hit when you actually use Crackshot. And as for what happens when you do press your class ability, 3 quick shots will rattle out, each dealing like 350 damage. If you only have 1 low health target, it will just shoot 1 shot or however many it takes to kill them. And if you have a high health target, it will put all 3 shots into that 1 enemy. And you'll notice too that landing 3 shots will cure us. And then another effect is because it scorches, you can trigger ignitions with this ability. Usually you have to pair it with another ability. And then the last thing regarding Crackshot is that similar to other dodge overwrites, it will still activate the dodge that we have under it. We can use it to refund our melee with Gambler's Dodge, we can use it to reload all of our weapons and pick up ammo, or we can use it to make us radiant. All of these have different things to build into, allowing Crackshot to fit into many different playstyles. And then lastly, as for how the damage scales here, above the 100 stat, the actual damage will go up, but I'll show numbers when we cover armor later in the video. Again, there are timestamps down below. But now moving right along, putting Crackshot behind us, we're now going to look at the exotic armor that we can abuse for maximum Crackshot uptime. This armor piece is the Speedloader Slacks leg armor. And these boots read, dodging instantly reloads all your weapons and grants increased reload and handling to you and nearby allies. While the buff is active, additional dodges increase the buff strength and refresh the timer, maxing out at 5 stacks. Dealing sustained damage grants class ability energy. So looking at the first portion of this exotic in game, whenever we dodge, regardless of chosen dodge, our weapons will reload. We also get some stat buffs for our weapons, and then by dodging multiple times within the buff timer, we can increase those stat buffs. And then the final part of this exotic is the actual main reason why we've chosen this, and that is because weapon damage will refund our class ability. This is variable per weapon type. Like as an example, hand cannons will do 15% after a couple shots, and then something like a grenade launcher will do 35% of our class ability energy after a couple shots. But what if there was a way for a grenade launcher to hit multiple times quickly? Which brings us to our one recommended weapon, that being an aerial denial frame grenade launcher, or specifically motif with incandescent if you can get it. These weapons can spread damage over time across large areas, giving us so much class ability back. And as a GL, that is 35% every tick. And if you're looking at the footage, this is a lot, to say the least. Now, looking at our subclass, or at least the rest of it, starting with our super, this can be any of the three, realistically. If you want to go all in on a fun build, you could use 6-shot golden gun. For in-game viability, blade barrage and 3-shot golden gun are kind of neck and neck right now. For our class ability, we use gambler's dodge. We don't need marksman dodge, and acrobat's dodge has a bit of a longer cooldown. For our melee, we use knife trick. This pairs well with Crackshot to actually cause ignitions in one combo. For our grenade, you could use healing grenade if you like to use that when in a pinch, but I really enjoy trip mine grenades, so that's my chosen one here. Then our first aspect is what we already saw, being Crackshot, of course, but our second one is on your mark. This reads, activating your class ability or landing precision hits grants you and nearby allies increased reload speed and weapon stat for a short duration. Stacks 10 times, final blows while at 10 stacks, cure you. In game, we can see that we get stacks simply from dodging. We can also see that we get them from precision hits. And then while the stat bonuses for each stack are nice enough, the main thing we are using this for is for the benefit from max stacks. When at 10, every final blow we get will give us restoration while curing us. It does only say cure in the description, but as you can see on the left side of the screen, we also get restoration. It's effectively like we have Devour on Solar. And because we were trying to spam our class ability as much as possible, you get to max stacks pretty quickly. But now to end off our subclass, the fragments are very important for this build. One of the most important ones being Ember of Singeing, so that scorched enemy kills will give us a ton of class ability energy. Crackshot scorches, making this a self-applying loop. Then we run Ember of Searing, so scorched targets give us some melee energy and create fire sprites, but also we get plus 10 class from this. Then we use Ember of Torches, which will cause our melee attacks to make us radiant. Pairing with that, we run Ember of Solace so that Radiant and Restoration just have longer cooldowns. Radiant and Restoration have longer timers on us. And then lastly, we use Ember of Empyrean, which will cause solar ability and weapon final blows to extend solar buffs. Now, moving on from our subclass, we have our other weapon options. The one thing that I thought of while coming with this build and that I could recommend for an exotic is Wither Horde. This weapon is like an area denial. It'll tick multiple times and give you that passive class ability regeneration, but it's not super necessary, and I found that area denial frames got you a lot more class ability energy a lot quicker. Now, if you wanted to do a really fun build, you could use the last word like you saw in some of the footage. It's definitely not good, but it's gunslinger, you know, it's high noon. You can run last word if you want for the full fantasy. But my honest opinion is just run something like a rocket pulse for the neutral game or a rocket sidearm, and then the A499, which is the heavy sniper from Renegades for boss damage. That'll probably give you the best all-around loadout. Now, next on the topic list is our armor setup. Starting with our stats, we want to have maximum class. Up to 100, we get reduced cooldown on our dodge, but above 100, we get multiple effects. The main described benefit is that we will get an overshield whenever we use our class ability, but you will also increase the damage that our Crackshot does. Showing off both of these, the first thing you'll notice is that our previous Crackshot did that 350 damage, it now deals close to 500. In all honesty, this isn't an insane amount, but it's all right and just way too fun, and it's kind of a quantity over quality kind of thing. But then the next thing we get for using Crackshot is an overshield. This will make us tankier on top of the restoration and cure that our subclass is giving us. Our next focus is super. This is so that we have the shortest possible super cooldown. Right here, you don't need to go above 100. And then the third focus is going into melee so that we can use that more often and get it fully recharged when we actually do use our dodge. Any other stats can go wherever you want. Now for our armor set bonuses, seeing as we are very early into this massive update, I don't have all the different sets yet, but I would recommend, at least at surface level, the classics like Ferropotent, which give you damage resist when generating your shields, which kind of just means damage resist while you have restoration. But now for our final topic for the gameplay loop, we have which artifact and which artifact perks are best for this build. I'm running Queen's Foil Sensor, with the build out being as follows. First, we have Armor Smith, so that whenever we break shields, we get a bit of DR. Then we run Kindling Trigger, so that whenever we're Radiant, our motif, the Area Denial Frame, will scorch enemies, which also gives us our class ability back. Then we run Torch, so that while Radiant, we deal increased weapon damage to Strand and Stasis debuffed enemies. This doesn't happen often, but it's nice to have in case it does. Unraveling Orbs goes well with our Kinetic Weapon if that is meant retrograde or some other Strand weapon. Then we run Heart of the Flame, so that our super, which is either Blade Barrage or Golden Gun, does more damage. Rays of Precision, which has while Radiant, Solar Precision Final Blows cause combatants to ignite. To be honest, this doesn't really happen in this build, but on the off chance that it does, this will be all right. And then lastly, we run Horde Shuttle, which could pair with Unraveling Orbs if that happens. My last thing to say is you could use Solo Operative if you're doing solo content. Now, finally, onto the gameplay loop. Everything begins with usually us aiming at some enemies and then using our Crackshot. This will give us stacks of On Your Mark, and we want to get as max stacks as soon as possible for the survivability. After that first ability use, we want to start spreading our DOT around for the rapid class ability regeneration. Find a beefy target that will tick for a while, or find a clump of ads to fire your Area Denial at. You can also use your other solar abilities to scorch enemies, which will also give us some dodge regen. And remember, our Crackshot will refund our knives, so you can knife something, Crackshot, and then knife them again. This will most always cause an ignition, but it is likely that just a second or two after our first Crackshot, you can use it again, which is the goal. Remember, we can also spread our dot around even more by firing a shot, using Crackshot to reload our weapons thanks to speed loaders, and then shooting another shot. At this point, you should have dodged enough times so you'll have max stacks of On Your Mark, and this means that every kill we get will be giving us restoration and cure, making us very, very tanky. When facing champions or mini bosses, feel free to Crackshot into them with all 3 shots multiple times, or you can just use your other weapons. And then specifically when against bosses, using your super and utilizing the reload on speedloader slacks will allow you to actually pump out pretty good numbers, especially if you're using the heavy sniper, which has to reload after every single shot. Crackshot does cancel that pretty good. But yeah, I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for getting this far into the video. I have so many more builds planned for this DLC. This build is honestly really good, and it's some of the most fun that I've had in a very long time. If you want a solar build, if you want a gunslinger build, this is absolutely it. With that, thank you. If you want to support me, support the channel, a like, a comment, a subscription, coming to say hi to me on Twitch, coming to say hi to me on my Discord, hyping the video if you're on mobile, all of that helps out a massive amount. I'm trying to make the most of Destiny while we still can. With that, if you want to support me, support the channel, but you can't think of a comment down below, gunslinger. And with that, as usual, I hope you are having a great day, and I hope to see you around.